Ailia Zehra joins us now from Islamabad. Ailia, less than an hour to go for the no trust motion. What are you picking up in terms of the numbers? Will Imran Khan be able to retain his position, or are the numbers really stacked against him at the moment?
Well, the number game is in the opposition's favor, and they are in a very comfortable position to pass the no trust motion against Imran Khan, even without the dissenting members of the PTI. They are in a comfortable position. They have their number game complete, and they are, they will be able to, vote Imran Khan out, and the no trust motion will succeed if the voting takes place. But we are hearing reports that the ruling party has kind of made some plans to somehow sabotage the whole session by inciting violence. Imran Khan yesterday spoke to the public, and he said that he called on his followers to come to Islamabad and protest. He has given a countrywide call for protest, and the narrative that he's building is that there's a foreign conspiracy in which his government is being targeted, and he has become a victim of a foreign planning, whose purpose was to make Pakistan a slave of the Western powers. So this narrative, unfortunately, holds
true to all these allegations that he's making, or is he just crying foul when he says there's a foreign conspiracy at play?
Yeah, if he does not seem to have any evidence, and the letter that he is referring to as evidence is just a communication from, a sort of memo from Pakistan's own ambassador. So internal communication cannot be termed as a threat, and such things do happen. Foreign governments do tell their ambassadors of countries about what they think about their governments, and the ambassadors do
establish that connection right there to Ailia. We'll try to get Ailia back on in just about a bit on the story, which is our big focus from Pakistan at the moment. The final countdown to the biggest test of Imran Khan's political innings begins. Breaking news coming in. Ahead of the no-trust vote against Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan, opposition leader Shahbaz Sharif has said that nobody can stop opposition to vote out Imran Khan government. Meanwhile, opposition leaders have started to walk towards the National Assembly in Islamabad. We'll get you those visuals shortly as well. But in just moments from now, 45 to 47 minutes from now, this will begin, because 11 a.m. is the given time for it, 11 a.m. Indian Standard Time, ahead of the no-trust vote against the Pakistani Prime Minister. Opposition leader Shahbaz Sharif speaks out, going on to say that no one can stop the opposition to vote out the Imran Khan government. And opposition leaders have already started to walk towards the National Assembly in Islamabad. Ailia is still with us. Ailia, it's begun. Just 45 odd minutes from now, the opposition leaders have already started walking towards the National Assembly in Islamabad, and as you were mentioning earlier, that the opposition is comfortable as far as the numbers are concerned, all set to topple the Imran Khan government. And Shahbaz Sharif now also goes on to say that no one can really stop us from toppling this particular government. But Imran had a change in stance. Earlier he had told his ministers to either abstain or not show up, and now he's encouraged them to show up. So what kind of is this confidence coming from the fact that he actually has the numbers?
No, he does not have the numbers. It's just that the strategy that he now seems to be working on is that the opposition members will be intimidated in some way. And we are also hearing some unconfirmed reports that he has also told the members to, put on a fight and somehow stop the opposition members from voting. So, as per the constitution, if some kind of untoward incident takes place, then the speaker is bound to adjourn the proceedings of the session. So if such a situation takes place, then the motion will certainly be delayed. So it appears that he's trying to create such a situation where the motion can be delayed. And since he's asked his followers to come to the capital, and roads are blocked, and the security is in the military's control right now. The Rangers, the FC personnel are taking care of the security, and they've sealed the red zone area entirely, except for just one route. So there are security measures, but it appears that Imran Khan is kind of instigating violence, indirectly by telling people to come. And, in Pakistan, the allegation of treason is something that is taken very seriously, not just in Pakistan, everywhere, I think. And if you're accusing somebody of treason, he's basically saying that everybody who votes against him is a traitor, right? So this is a very serious allegation, and when you're calling people traitor, then asking your followers to come, then you are inciting violence against them, right? So this situation can turn violent, and unrest, chaos can be witnessed on the streets of Islamabad. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But if it does, then the speaker will have, a reason to delay the proceedings, adjourn the session, which means that the no-trust motion would be delayed, and Imran will succeed in, kind of defeating the opposition. But the opposition, we are told, have made this strategy that they will not respond to Imran Khan's, the incitement, and whatever they do, whatever the government members, even if they engage in some sort of violence, the opposition will not respond to them, because the opposition is confident, and they say that the only way we can defeat Imran Khan is by voting on the no trust motion, because right now the number game is in the opposition's favor. And in one of the last meetings, they decided that the dissident PTI members would not even be asked to vote on this motion, just so this whole process is uncontroversial, because people are saying that why are dissident members, maybe they should be disqualified, maybe people should not be allowed to go against their party. So just to make the whole process uncontroversial, the opposition has decided that the dissident members will be allowed to vote
according to law hoga, और इंशाल्लाह आज हक की जीत होगी. और
coming in. Listen to the reactions that are coming in. We're getting some reactions coming in. Alia, hold on. All right, we'll get to those reactions in just about a bit. Continue, Alia. Alia, also just throw some light on all these allegations that are coming in from Imran Khan. And as you were saying earlier, there's no evidence to support these allegations about international conspiracy to oust him, as claimed by Imran Khan.
Yeah, so it doesn't seem that there's an international conspiracy. Imran Khan has a history of, making such claims. Earlier, when he was out against alleged rigging in the elections in 2013, when he was in the opposition, he made a claim against the then Chief Minister of Punjab that he kind of held the PMLN, the opposition, his rival party, in 37 constituencies. But he later had to backtrack from that claim, and nothing came out of it, right? So he does have that habit of saying things that cannot be proven. And yesterday, the Army Chief, General Bajwa, also stated that he acknowledged the US-Pak relations and how important they are, the strategic partnership that exists between Pakistan and the US. So if the Prime Minister is saying that the US is involved in some kind of conspiracy, and the Army Chief is saying that US is an important ally and Pakistan and US are working closely together and there's a partnership, then that does mean that the Army is kind of,
I also want to take a moment, Alia, to understand the sentiment which is amongst the people in Pakistan at the moment vis-a-vis their Prime Minister. What do they think of him? Do they want his ouster too? What is the general sentiment that you're picking up from the people outside of the politics? What do the people feel about this? Do you have some reactions?
So ahead of this National Assembly session, opposition parties took out their rallies in Islamabad, and I was, present there. And I saw that people were really frustrated, especially with this economic crisis and the inflation, rising inflation. And they have been, even people who used to support PTI at some point, even they are kind of, critical of their economic policies and how they've failed to, resolve the crisis, especially on the economic front. And this frustration has been, growing for quite some time. It's not just the ordinary people, it's also the business community. Some stakeholders who earlier supported Imran Khan are now frustrated. But I think the whole thing, to understand this, the situation, one also needs to understand that the establishment was the biggest supporter of Imran Khan.
There has also been reports that says that Imran Khan has gone out to make statements like he will not resign despite facing that no confidence motion, and even if the votes do go against his favor, he has decided not to resign and, fight it out right till the end.
So we're also hearing that they may resign from assemblies. All the PTI lawmakers that are on their side in Imran Khan, they'll resign from the assemblies. And if that happens, they think that will somehow their demand for early elections will take place. But that doesn't happen because they still don't have majority. Another update that I would like to give to your audience is that the Punjab governor Chaudhry Sarwar has just been sacked moments ago, and this was entirely unexpected. The reason has not been announced yet. A new governor has not been announced yet, but the federal government has kind of sacked its own party's governor, and I think Chaudhry Sarwar was kind of considered close to the establishment. So it may be, the reason why he's sacked, but this was totally unexpected, and it happened just hours before the National Assembly, the crucial National Assembly session is about to begin.
All right, so would you say that there is a lot of political turmoil at the moment brewing in Pakistan? And in case the House manages to vote him out, what next? Of course, he's asked the people to take to the streets, etc. But what next politically?
So the opposition has also completed its homework on that front. Shehbaz Sharif seems to be the consensus candidate for now. He also has the support of the opposition, the united opposition, it appears, and he is also liked by the establishment. And whoever is liked by the establishment will ultimately get to be the next prime minister. So Shehbaz Sharif seems to be next in line, and the united opposition, it appears that they will have to settle that which party gets which ministry. But of course, the united opposition does because they have been holding a series of meetings ahead of this whole NoTrust move. So they do have the whole planning done. But the establishment will kind of.
But when you say Shehbaz Sharif is going to be the next one and tipped to be the next prime minister in case there is a majority and there is this motion passes of no confidence against Imran Khan, what about the money laundering charges against Shehbaz Sharif? They have been pending since the year 2020.
Yeah, so these cases, the NAB cases, the so-called accountability drive that began and targeted the opposition leaders, that was also done, by the PTI, and you can say that the establishment also kind of supported it. So courts, especially in such cases, in corruption cases, courts are, they do what the establishment tells them to do, right? In most cases. So we will see that, when the establishment does not want a politician to be targeted, then the cases magically disappear and there are no cases anymore. And the courts give that politician relief. So it all just depends on whether or not that politician is on the wrong side of the establishment. At first, he was on the wrong side of the establishment. His brother, Shehbaz Sharif's brother, Nawaz Sharif, had been issuing statements against the establishment. But now that they've mended their ways and they're kind of, on good terms with the establishment. So these cases, the PTI might try to bring them up, but I don't think that is going to be a problem anymore for Shehbaz Sharif.
And as far as, the fact that no Pakistan premier has been able to complete the full term, does Imran Khan become the third one to face this kind of no-trust vote?
So the thing is that I see this argument often being peddled, but you see that this 5-year term is for the assembly, not just for the prime minister, right? And according to the constitution, the prime minister serves as long as he has the confidence of the House, of the National Assembly, of majority of the House, right? When he loses the support or the confidence of the majority, then he loses the right to remain the prime minister. So in previous cases, the ousters, the prime ministers that were overthrown, it happened through military coups. It happened through Supreme Court judgments, like the last Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif was disqualified through a Supreme Court judgment. But in this case, this no-trust motion is a very constitutional, it's part of the Constitution. Nothing unconstitutional is being done right now. Whether or not establishment is playing a role, that is debatable, of course. We can debate that. But I don't know why people think that this is unconstitutional or an attack on democracy. The Constitution does allow the no-trust move, and everything that is being done right now, lobbying for the no-trust move, opposition completing their number game and, winning on that front, that is all part of the Constitution. So I don't agree with the argument that this ouster will be a threat to democracy, because I think Imran Khan was the antithesis of democracy. So the hybrid regime, the establishment plus PTI rule that Pakistan has been, under, is when it is no longer there, then that is going to strengthen democracy, I think, because Pakistan.
And is Imran Khan likely to attend the assembly session today, Alia? Because it's about to begin in, say, about 40 minutes from now, less than 40 minutes from now.
Yeah, we are told that he will not be. Nothing has been confirmed, but we are told that he won't be there. And he usually does have a history of just skipping sessions, such crucial sessions, and especially where criticism is expected, and because he does not have the heart to listen to criticism. So we're told that that won't happen, and he will probably. Another thing that I want to mention is that the media is not being allowed to fully cover the session, and
what's the reason for that? What's the reason for that?
They're citing security issues, but even high security area media is allowed. Bilawal Bhutto, the opposition leader, the opposition vice chairman, he said that he would protest this ban and he would ask them to let media in, but so far they are kind of barring media.
But how can they ban the media from covering this in a democracy, Alia?
Yeah, well, when Pakistan is clearly a lot of democratic freedoms are not enjoyed by us, unfortunately. And the reason being given is that the security threat is real and all of that. But it also means that the government, the ruling party, does not want this whole thing, since the number game is clearly in the opposition's favor and they're going to lose. So they don't want the media to document it all and show it all. So that might be the reason, but I think that the opposition parties will make some noise against it, and media will eventually be allowed to cover it.
And what is coming across at the moment, because he's also a cricketer, so one would imagine that Imran Khan is a good. He has the right amount of sportsman spirit to even lose. But what is coming out is clearly the opposite, because he's now inciting people to go ahead and take the streets in case he loses today.
See, that Imran Khan is a cricketer, yes, but that has never been, part of his the way he acts and behaves. He has never displayed sportsman spirit when it matters, and the way he's acting, the way he's telling his followers to come, it reminds one of the Capitol Hill attack in the U.S. and how Trump's followers did, and quite similar to that, and also the fact that he did meet the former US President Trump, and he was very, he seemed very happy with the meeting. And people are also questioning that why did the mental slavery bit did not come up that, when he met Trump, because, when Trump did invite him and he did have a meeting with the US President, he was okay with the US back relations, but just because Biden did not give him a phone call, an ego issue, and he just, began to attack America and accuse them of foreign conspiracy. So nothing about his approach right now can be termed part of sportsman's spirit, because he is clearly doing the opposite of what a sportsman is truly supposed to do.
Attacks as well, and we do remember what had happened at that point of time, and with Imran going out to make statements like this, where he's inciting people to take to the streets, etc., there should be additional security that needs to be deployed, because clearly he's all set to lose, because the numbers, as you are saying, are stacked up against him. So what is the kind of safety and security deployment that has been done? Do we have Alia with us?